Hey, what's up, YouTube? So, I have to catch my breath. Anyways, I just got back from, I got back from work maybe like an hour and a half ago, and work's been going pretty well. This is my sixth week at Walmart pushing carts, and it's going pretty well. Um, it's been really hot. There was like a heat wave that came through Tennessee last week, and the other weeks that I was working were pretty hot too, but not as much as last week. Last week was like 104, 105 or something like that, which is pretty hot for out here. So yeah, it was just like pretty. It was like boiling. Um, and like everything I touched, like all the carts, the cart pusher, like everything was just like hella hot, which made it kind of difficult, but I got through it. Um, and so, anyways, I wanted to make a video that was like kind of rehashing like my scripting idea. And to reiterate what the scripting idea is it's basically like where you take your YouTube videos and you turn them into readable scripts, like printed out on paper. And you can get the transcript on your YouTube video. If you just go to one of your YouTube videos, you can get the transcript. And then if you go into YouTube Studio, you can find it, copy and paste it into a Word document and print it. So I've done that. I've done that several times. And at first I thought that it was going to make my YouTube videos more interesting or whatever, but I figured out that it would the scripting the YouTube videos was never about YouTube. I mean, it is about YouTube, but it's not really about making better content. It was about finding a way to it was like finding a way to cope in a healthy way in a somewhat stressful situation, kind of like work. So in May, I went on a plane trip to California, and I took my scripts with me through TSA, and I brought them on the plane, and I read them on the plane. And then once I got back from that trip, I started imagining that every time I saw a plane fly by, and there's like an airport really close to my house, so every time an airplane came in, I would imagine myself reading my scripts on that plane. And I did that like a bunch of times. I did it every day for like 2 months. And then I ended up getting this job. And what I realized was that when I was at work, like a lot of people, what I noticed is what a lot of people do on their lunch break is they go off. I don't want to say off campus because it's not a campus, but like off the premise, off the Walmart premise, and they go like get lunch somewhere, or they go smoke, or they go somewhere where they can have a little bit of privacy, where they can de-stress, or they go in their car or something like that. Like basically anything to get away from work. And so basically what I found out is that these scripts are a really good way to be able to cope with the stresses of work. And it's kind of ironic because a lot of YouTubers don't want to work for any like corporate company. And I just thought, like, isn't that kind of ironic that these scripts and bringing them on the plane and then getting back home and then imagining that I'm reading those scripts on that plane, like, it's kind of ironic that that ended up like helping me kind of like escape work, kind of like in a healthy way without having to like leave or smoke or go in my car or do anything. So it was just kind of ironic. But that's what happens when you tap into your imagination, intuition, whatever. Like when you tap into it, like genuinely, like you don't always know what the result is going to be, but you can guarantee that something good will come of it. So, you know, I was scripting for like 6 to 8 months before I took that trip to California. And then the flight itself was about 5 hours. So I ran through about 12 different YouTube videos on the flight, like in scripts. I ran through about 12 of them. Um, and then I ended up getting to work, like, and then in between getting back and starting this job, I was just, every time a plane would fly by my window, I would look out the window and be like, oh, like, they're carrying my scripts on the plane. Or like, that's where I'm making YouTube videos from. And there's a little play on words with YouTube and planes that I won't say explicitly, but if you think about the word YouTube and if you think about the experience of like sitting on a plane, you can kind of like find the play on words there. So just think about how a plane is shaped, and so you might be able to find the play on words there. But that was just another interesting thing I found. It was kind of ironic. Oh, come here, Ruby. Come here. Come here. So, anyways, that was kind of cool. So yeah, so at work, like the only thing that really bugs me is that like I wish there was just like a bed or like a bench or something I could lay down on when I'm taking breaks at work. Cause it's like there's manual jobs inside like when you're stocking stuff, but like the carts is like a manual job. It's like manual 24/7 or however you're on the job. So I just wish there was somewhere I could kind of like put my back against or like lay down and just relax my muscles in between like my afternoon shift and my evening shift. I just wish there was like a place to sit down and like obviously if I had a car, I could do that, but then that would be bordering on like needing to escape from work. And I don't want to have to be in a mindset where I'm constantly trying to escape from work while I'm at work, you know? It's almost like breaking the immersion within a video game. Or like, yeah, it's almost like breaking the immersion within a video game. It's like when I'm at work, I want to be immersed in my work, but I also don't want to have to go somewhere private just to feel like I'm de-stressing or whatever. Like, I think I'm pretty okay with that. So, if you invest a little bit of energy in your imagination or intuition, you don't know what the result is going to be, but you know it's going to be a good thing. And you can't plan on where it's going to be applied in your life, but if you just trust the process, then eventually it ends up getting applied somewhere. And it can become a really useful kind of skill. So I don't know if there's anything else that I really need to tweak or really do anything with the scripts. And another thing that was ironic was taking my scripts on the plane. It was like I had planned it like 2 weeks before the trip that I would do that. So like a week beforehand, like I printed all of them, and then I didn't put any paper clips in them because I wanted it to be able to go through TSA. What are you eating, Ruby? Ruby, don't eat that. Don't eat that. Don't eat that. So I took all the paper clips out of them because I didn't want it to not pass TSA standards. So took all the paper clips out. Um, but yeah, so it was sick. It was like it was the best plane flight I've ever had. You know, plane flights have been more or less kind of borderline traumatic for me my whole life. But this was the first plane flight I've ever had that I was like very calm, very like not that worried, not that anxious. It still gave me some anxiety, right? Like looking out the plane, looking out the window at like being up like 30,000 feet, like it gives me some anxiety. But with the scripts, it really helped like me just immerse myself in my own head, sort of, and not worry about turbulence or anything like that. So, that's all I want to come on for. And like, if there's a plane passing overhead while I'm working at Walmart, then I just say to myself, I was like, oh, there's another one of my scripts that's, you know, someone is reading up there or I'm reading or whatever. And it's like a little way to like reset my brain. Um, so I'm not like coping with work in an unhealthy way. Um, because I realized with all my previous jobs, like I had to cope like super badly, like with the stress of work, stress of like working like a 7 hour shift or whatever, 8 hour shift. I had to cope in all these like bad ways with the stress. But now it's like I'm not having to cope with it. I mean, I am coping, but I'm coping in a healthy way. So there's a difference. Coping is not always a bad thing. Sometimes you can make it healthy, and it's not unhealthy. It's not a bad thing. So some people are naturally gifted with work. I'm not, but that's not going to stop me from making my making my money, spending my money on what I want, saving money, earning money. It's not going to stop me from making money. Um, a funny, kind of a funny story from work is there's this homeless guy who came up to me one day while I was working. I was taking a break, and he was like, "Hey, man, you trying to like split an apartment with me?" He's like, "Bro, like, how much you making at this job? Like, I think we could split an apartment." I was like, what apartments are you talking about?" And he's like, "Oh, there's some, you know, down in you know, down a couple miles past here, and you know, it's nothing fancy, but I think if you paid 500 and I paid 500, I think we could split an apartment." And he was pretty persistent for a couple days. He was really gung ho about having an apartment with me because like I was nice to him. Like it was when it was hot outside, and we get like free waters and free Gatorade at work. And I was like, "Oh, hey, you want a Gatorade or a water?" So like I did that a couple days in a row because he was showing up. And then he all of a sudden he went gung ho about this idea of getting an apartment. So just kind of a funny story from work. Hey, Ruby, it's okay. Ruby, come this way. Come this way. Come this way. Hey, come here. What? You okay? You okay? Anyways, that's all, guys. Bye.